reason to feel sorry for yourself. Some people are too easily satisfied. They quit living at 50. We don't bury them until they're 80. Even though they've been alive, they're not really living. They've been through disappointments. They had some failure. Somebody did them wrong. They've just settled and stopped enjoying life. But God has another victory in your future. You wouldn't be breathing if God didn't have something great in front of you. You need to get your passion back. God is not finished with you. God promises He will complete what He started in your life. The scripture says God will bring us to a flourishing finish, not a fizzling finish. You need to do your part. Shake off the self-pity. Shake off what didn't work out. You may have a reason to feel sorry for yourself, but you don't have a right. God said He'll take what's meant for your harm, not only bring you out, but He'll bring you out better off than you were before. In the Bible, David said, "Lift up your head, and the King of glory will come in." As long as your head is down, you're discouraged, with no joy, no passion, no zeal, the King of glory will not come. Instead, you got to get up in the morning and say, "Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for another sunrise. I'm excited about this day." When you're really alive, hopeful, grateful, passionate, productive, then the King of glory, the Most High God, will come in. He'll make a way where it looks like there is no way. We all face difficulties. We all have unfair things happen. Don't let it sour your life. I heard the saying, trouble is inevitable, but misery is optional. Just because you had a bad break doesn't mean your life is over. I know a popular minister who led his church for many years and was such a great speaker, he was in constant demand. But a few years ago, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He eventually lost his ability to speak. He had to resign from his church. He once was so eloquent, strong, and vibrant, but it looked as if his career was over. Looked as if his best days were behind him. But just when things started to look really bad for him, he sent me a manuscript with a note saying, "Joel, as you know, I can't speak anymore, so I've taken up writing. Here's a look at my newest book." Just because you can't do what you used to do doesn't mean you're supposed to sit on the sidelines. If you can't speak, write. If you can't run, walk. If you can't stand up, sit up. If you can't dance, shake your head. Do whatever you can. As long as you have breath, you have something in you. Don't lose your passion. Think about the Apostle Paul. He was thrown in prison at the peak of his career. Just when it was all coming together, he had this major disappointment. Paul could have become depressed and thought, "Too bad for me." He could have given up on his dreams. Instead, he kept his passion. While in prison, he wrote more than half of the New Testament. What looked like a setback was really a setup for God to do something greater in Paul's life. You may have been through some bad breaks, unfair situations. Stay passionate. God is still on the throne. If you'll keep your head up, the King of glory will still come in and guide you to where He wants you to be. But it's tempting to go through life looking in the rearview mirror. When you're always looking back, you become focused on what didn't work out. Who hurt you, on the mistake you've made. If only I'd have finished college. If only I'd spent more time with my children. If only I'd been raised in a better environment. As long as you're living in regret, focused on the negative things of the past, you won't move ahead to the bright future God has in store. You need to let go of what didn't work out. Let go of your hurts and pains. Let go of your mistakes and failures. You can't do anything about the past, but you can do something about right now. Whether it happened 20 minutes ago or 20 years ago, let go of the hurts and failures and move forward. If you keep bringing the negative baggage from yesterday into today, your future will be poisoned. You can't change what's happened to you. You may have had an unfair past, but you don't have to have an unfair future. You may have had a rough start, but it's not how you start that matters, it's how you finish. Don't let a hurtful relationship sour your life. Don't let a bad break, a betrayal, a divorce, a bad childhood cause you to settle for less in life. Move forward and God will pay you back. Move forward and God will vindicate you. Move forward and you'll come into a new beginning. Nothing that's happened to you is a surprise to God. The loss of a loved one didn't catch God off guard. God's plan for your life didn't end because your business didn't make it, or a relationship failed, you had a difficult child. Here's the question. Will you become stuck and bitter, fall into self-pity, blame others, let the past poison your future? Or will you shake it off and move forward, knowing that your best days are still ahead? The next time you're in your car, notice there's a big windshield in the front and a very small rearview mirror. The reason the front windshield is so big and the rearview mirror is so small is that what's happened in your past is not nearly as important as what's in your future. Where you're going is a lot more important than where you've been. But if you stay focused on the past, you'll get stuck where you are. That's the reason some people don't have any joy. They've lost their enthusiasm. They're dragging around with all this baggage from the past. Somebody offended them last week. They've got that stuffed in their resentment bags. They lost their tempers, said something that they shouldn't. Now they put those mistakes in their bags of guilt and condemnation. 10 years ago, their loved one died. They still don't understand why. Their hurt and pain is packed in their disappointment bag. Growing up, they weren't treated right. There's another suitcase full of bitterness. They've got their regret bags containing all the things they wish they'd done differently. Maybe there's another bag with a divorce in it. They're still mad at their former spouse. They've been carrying around resentment for years. If they wanted to take an airline flight, they couldn't afford it. They've got 27 bags to drag around with them everywhere they go. Friends, life is too short to live that way. Learn to travel light. Every morning when you get up, forgive those who have hurt you. Forgive your spouse for what was said. Forgive your boss for being rude. Forgive yourself for mistakes you've made. At the start of the day, let go of the setbacks and the disappointments from yesterday. Start every morning afresh and anew. God didn't create you to carry around all that baggage. You may have been holding on to it for years. It's not going to change until you do something about it. Put your foot down and say, that's it. I'm not living in regrets. I'm not staying focused on my disappointments. I'm not dwelling on my relationships that didn't work out, on those who hurt me, on how unfairly I was treated. I'm letting go of the past and moving forward with my life. You should focus on what you can change, not what you cannot change. What's done is done. If somebody offended you, mistreated you, disappointed you, the hurts can't be undone. You can get bitter, pack it in a bag and carry it around, let it weigh you down, or you can forgive those who hurt you and go on. If you lost your temper yesterday, you can beat yourself up, put the guilt and condemnation in the bag, or you can ask for forgiveness. Receive